Carry the G Radio. We're live. Aaron Nagler here in New York City. Bill Schmid holding it down there in the greater iHeart Metroplex in the greater Milwaukee area. Ready to talk about the green and gold. Your Green Bay Packers coming off a tough one against the Bears, but no time to fret. We got to turn around and get ready for this showdown with the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday night. Another Saturday game. Bill, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm glad that we had that extra day of buffer and like 12 games to be able to just bury away what we ended up watching on Saturday night. But like any scab that I have on my body, I just have to pick at it.
You'll pick it. Pick at it.
See if I can flick it off, and then maybe all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, that thing's still on there. This thing's gonna bleed pretty bad. Then you just rip it right off. Watch it bleed. So I did that a couple of times. I've watched the third and fourth quarter.
Probably makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, so I've watched it way too many times. But it's a good thing to be able to live in the losses because it makes the victory so much sweeter.
So much sweeter. And as Matt LaFleur has said, why are you doing this if it doesn't hurt?
Yes.
You know, why are you doing it? Why are you caring? Why are you investing all your emotional energy into this thing if it doesn't hurt when you lose? And certainly it hurt on Saturday night, Billy, in a contest where the Packers had control of the football game for roughly 58 minutes. Unfortunately, Billy, they play 60. And then some extra sometimes if it's tied, which it was, so they did. And, you know, it's a tough one. It leads us right out of the gate. We're going to get it out of the way with our heart-stopping play of the week, which, of course, you can't go anyplace else other than Romeo Doubs muffin the onside kick. And it's tough. You hate to see it. Absolute catastrophe for a guy who played a very good game right up until that point. And to me, that's the most disappointing, frustrating part is that Romeo's been a bit inconsistent as of late throughout the kind of second half of this season, right? But it looked as if he had turned the corner and was back to being his old trustworthy self right up until this play. And look, I know every Packers fan, whenever there's an onside kick attempt since 2014, holds their breath a little bit, makes the joke like, oh, here we go, because we were all scarred from that moment in Seattle, obviously. But seeing it play out again, Billy, I got to be honest. Like, you know me, I carry the G. I am about as positive and hopeful and forward-looking as any Packers fan on this earth. But once that happened, sure felt like it happened on the Packers sideline as well. It really completely just deflated me as a human being. Like my soul left my body and I was resigned to our fate.
And it was one of the reasons why, like, watching LaFleur's reaction to it right away after, and the camera flashes to him. It's the only response you can have where he immediately looks at the defense, goes, "Let's finish this bleep out. Let's close this thing out." Yeah. However, everybody knew, like, you're 2 plays away from them being in position to score the game-tying touchdown because you felt like the quick strike ability was going to be there. And Nags, it's just all of it of how it transpired. And this is a lot of what happens here if this happens and that happens.
Right. A lot of sliding doors.
I still didn't even think that they were going to kick the onside kick. Like, coming back from timeout,
right? I
thought they were going to kick it deep.
Yep.
And maybe that's just because it is such a non-productive play in the National Football League, why it's been so difficult to recover.
Only 4 recoveries prior to Saturday night.
The teams are like, well, let's just boot it deep, get a stop. We can score in a minute. Just on top of like a minute 40, it is what it is. And maybe if Santos actually kicks the field goal before the 2-minute warning, they definitely kick it deep because then they got 3 stoppages and it makes a lot more sense. But it's all a sliding door. And then once they line up for the onside kick, like you said, I try to be as optimistic as ever, and generally patented positivity is what you hear. Drew almost had a full spit take when I said onside kicks, sadly for this G, are becoming like my man Charles Barkley's gambling theory. It's 50-50. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. You're either going to recover it or you're not. And
baby,
even though that's definitely not the odds and what the percentages play out here, it sure as hell feels that way. And as you can break it down to this one and that one. And we had a lot of people telling us a heart and desire police yesterday.
Oh, those are my favorite. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. And next, the biggest one is like, if I can go on any soapbox on it, this is why we need to play more sports. This is why we all need to be playing multiple sports growing up. This is why we need to be playing football and baseball and basketball, because any good shortstop, because Romeo Dobbs way too athletic to be playing right field, knows you got to attack that ball, right?
Like, you can't be backing up.
That's where it feels. That's where it feels like a ground ball in baseball, where like you take the 1/2 step forward, he suffocates the rock before it even gets to bounce off his hands and down on.
What's crazy too is he says exactly that post game. I need to attack the ball.
I need to attack it.
And the other wild part is him saying we repped it all week. We repped it all week, Billy, and they still screwed it up.
It's why this game is played by humans. I mean, like as much as we'd love it to be a simulation, and it just be all right. So you have prepared for it. You know that this is how it goes. You do exactly that. Man, when it's on and that ball starts spinning and it's doing the weird little corkscrew spin and bounce, and it bounces the one time, like he knows exactly what he's got to do. And I feel like you and I are going to be on the same wavelength, because I think we both had a similar retort to the put somebody else out there. Like I really wanted Donovan Jennings to get his chance to be on the hands team. I'm always down to put Aaron Banks on the hands team. You got your surest handed receiver out there. And this is the other part of it, Nags.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's played 15 games.
Yes.
Like, so as much as we had people that say, well, I want Christian Watson on there. Okay. He wasn't on the field for the first 6 weeks, so couldn't do it. Jaden Reed out there. Well, he was also missing for 2 months. So if you're going to have
hasn't been practicing it all year since back in the summer, the way Romeo Dobbs has.
One guy, and push comes to shove, the biggest moment, unable to secure it. But it doesn't feel like, and I don't know if you've gotten the same sentiment as I have here. It doesn't feel like you're going to hear of any Packers pro personnel person walking to the elevator saying, I knew that bleep was going to happen with that bleeping guy. Like it doesn't feel,
it doesn't
feel like that situation, because nobody went outside of what they were supposed to do. You just didn't come up with the ball in the
execute. Just didn't execute. That's all that was. And it's unfortunate, and it sucks, and it hurts. But now we're moving on, getting ready for the Baltimore Ravens on another Saturday, Billy. Kind of feels like it's against God to be playing football on a Saturday night in the NFL. But we do it for the second week in a row. That heart-stopping play of the week is brought to you by Theta Care, your home for bone, joint, and muscle care. From sprains to surgeries, they've got the playbook to keep you moving. So when pain tries to take you out of the game, trust the experts who know how to win with Theta Care Orthopedic Care, proud sponsor of Carry the G Radio.
Hot week for Theta Care. I got to assume that they had a lot of people coming in saying, I got some chest pains on Saturday night. And all of a sudden, Sunday morning being like, yeah, so I went to bed, my hand was all swollen. I don't know exactly what happened. I thought it was going to go down when I went to sleep. And it seems to get worse, and now it's all black and blue. You think you could help me out with that? I don't know what exactly happened when I punched my couch.
The couch? You only punched the couch? That's probably progress. Let's be honest.
The funniest thing is, Nags, the part where I actually thought I broke my hand on Saturday night. And you can talk about it with our friend Hunter, because he was standing right there and was really scared. And I actually felt bad. I spooked him that way.
A little bit.
Was on the fumble. Was on the thought to be Manungai fumble after you fumble the 4th and 1 snap.
Yep.
When
you thought, here we go.
Holy cow.
Fortune. Smiling
right
on us.
Into the way.
Yep.
And instead, he's clearly down by contact. I hit this like pure wood table in our performance lounge probably 10 straight times. And until like the second hour of Packers OT, my hand was like quick trip red. Like it was bright red. So I imagine there's a lot of folks that had a similar reaction at some point during the finish of that game on Sunday.
Wow, you still get like that, huh? Okay, I see. That's interesting. I see. I wouldn't have imagined it, but it makes sense. I get the passion. I understand it. Like that was definitely me as a younger man. Now I just scream about Joe Barry after 3 years. But yeah, I get it, man. I feel it. That's interesting.
It's also a good time to laugh, right? Like it's one of those times where if you don't laugh, it's just sad.
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true. Because what can you do but laugh through the pain? at this point,
100%.
So let's talk about the offensive performance first up, because I do want to look at like the way LaFleur handled this game, given the context and the situation, as banged up as they were coming into the contest, and then to lose Jordan Love somewhat, early on the way they did. Man, I thought LaFleur coached a hell of a game. And I know no one wants to hear that after a catastrophic loss, but if you can pull back and be dispassionate and look at it objectively, LaFleur coached his ass off on Saturday. Now, the one haunting kind of thing hanging over this team, and not just from Saturday night, but kind of now throughout the course of the last month or so, the red zone is absolutely their, albatross at the moment. They can move the ball on anyone, on any defense. They can go between the 20s up and down the field, no problem. But, man, they have got to figure something out as far as their approach in the red zone. I don't know if it's because Josh Jacobs has been in and out of the lineup. We know LaFleur likes to just pound the rock once he gets down there. Hasn't been able to do that quite as much maybe, but, man, the red zone is absolutely killing this team.
And I saw a lot of people throwing up the pictures of Nathaniel Hackett and being like, "Hey, what's my man doing right now?" What more than anything, what is Devontae Adams doing right now? Like, that was when you start really looking back at it, Nags, and I start trying to say, like, well, why were they so much better at this time? Well, because they had the easiest layup that you were unable to not have two guys on, and then all of a sudden, my man catches 14 touchdowns with Stafford this year, and we're like, wait.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
amazing at the goal line. Yeah, because we saw it for a large portion of his career right here in Green Bay. And Aaron, I thought, and this is something that we talked about on Packers OT, and I don't necessarily know how easy it is to grade out, right? Or if indeed this is a portion of it, and maybe I'm looking at a different kind of offense for it, where in that standpoint, you're right. Matt wanted to run the ball and pound the rock at teams once they would get down there. However, there was enough of a freestyle where even if it might not be to the letter of the law on the offense of why I can the play and throw the quick slant over here, I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, there's a certain freestyle,
right?
Just make a play mode that, not that I don't believe the offense or Jordan has. I think he absolutely does. I think there's the bleep it, I'm going to ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
Of it that sometimes that might be missing just yet, because like the can play on the fourth down to Watson. That's one where you make the, all right, sweet. I understand the numbers. I understand exactly what they're doing. They might be kind of baiting me in to throw that and know exactly what I'm going to do. And you're throwing it 35 yards to gain a yard.
I mean, it's 4th and 1, and we're throwing to the far hash, Billy. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
But I think and I don't know if you see the same thing that I'm seeing, where it's like they know at the line what you're going to do is
what your mode of operation is. Yes,
what his mode of operation is.
1,000%.
Yes. Instead of, I'm going to give the ball to 8 and he's going to beat one extra guy,
or I'm going to run a quarterback sneak. What has happened to the quarterback sneak? I don't need a tush push. Just run the sneak. Jordan's done it at times successfully. But we've got guys outside the hashes running out routes. Like, to your point, we're throwing it 35 yards to gain a yard. That stuff kind of drives me insane. Like,
do you think the sneak is part of the shoulder injury?
Possibly. I know he's playing banged up. He's on the injury report, though he's a full participant each and every day. At some point. But also, okay, so can we put like maybe Musgrave under center, just like we used to with Kraft, and do the tight end push? I don't know, possibly. Although you can't do that now because we're down to one tight end. We're down to one tight end. We got Musgrave and nothing else. Although hopefully maybe Wiley comes back out of the concussion protocol. But that's frustrating. But to your point about Adams, you're 100% correct. Obviously, a supreme talent. But I also recall a couple of times, probably more than a couple, where back in like 2020, 2021, LaFleur was in his bag as far as like dialing up like little tosses to the running back in the flat that, aren't heavy lifts. They don't require a perfect pass. Yet we're able to kind of get guys free and get guys open. And that seems to be missing now. And it's real easy for me to say that, right? It's super simple to say it. But it does seem like most of those types of plays have gone completely out of the playbook. And it'd be nice to see maybe just one or two back in at some point.
I think they might have been trying, and then one of them blasted off our backup running back's face mask, which might have.
Well, no, that was the same kind of screen they ran to Savion Williams in Pittsburgh, which was very successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not wrong as far as okay, let's get it in the back's hand and hope he can make something.
Get him and stay, see what we can do. Yeah,
you do have to catch it, no question about it. Big component of success in the NFL.
It does help, yeah.
I love it. We're just getting started. We got so much more to get to. We got people chatting it up here on Cheesehead TV's YouTube channel. Love each and every one of you connecting with the Green Bay Packers via Carry the G Radio. Really appreciate it. That's Billy. I'm Aaron. More to come on Carry the G Radio.
Down the hall, I got a check now. I don't recall the milk and cookies. I think I'm sure I've got it all. The stocking tongue along the wall ain't got a chimney.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with director Michelle Garza Cervera of Hulu's The Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. She wanted her characters to live in the gray area.
I wanted to challenge the conception of good and evil that are usually, in thrillers, there's always like the victim and the evil one. And I wanted to challenge that, and give both characters kind of like more of a palette of both sides. So that was kind of like the main core about it.
It's a female-driven story made by many women on the creative team, too.
To me, kind of comes very naturally. Like, I love to be surrounded by women. I mean, that it's always very mixed. We had like also a lot of men involved in the production, but I think like there's something that has to do with sensibility, so then a creative team approaches you. And of course, if they've been through those like domestic spaces and they've had those fears that many times women have, they know that have to do with like paranoia and gaslighting and self-gaslighting. And so all of these things to me come so natural for us. I feel like we're experts in the horror, in the thriller genre, women.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said,
in August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. iHeartRadio. Here are the top John Mellencamp songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hurts So Good.
Come on, baby, hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should be, baby. Hurt so good.
Number 2, Small Town.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. And people let me be just what I want to be.
Number 1, Jack and Diane.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. To walk on.
Hear more from John Mellencamp and similar artists now. Search for John Mellencamp on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, the number one rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Malik Willis in the shotgun with a set back to his right. Here's the snap to Willis. He looks to throw. He lofted left side for Dobbs. Over the shoulder. Yes! Green Bay Packers. Romeo Dobbs on a sensational throw from Malik Willis. A 33-yard touchdown pass to beat Kevin Byard.
It was December 24th on Hollis Ave at the dark. When I see the man chilling with his dog at the park, I approached him very slowly with my heart full of fear. Looked at his dog. Oh my God, ill reindeer.
It's Gary the G Radio back at it with phenomenal call from Wayne on the big touchdown pass from Malik Willis to Romeo Dobbs. Although that does highlight the fact that they got to score from outside the red zone, Billy.
Yeah,
I love the big play. I'm all for it. But we were talking about this yesterday on Packer Transplants. Unless it's Jordan Love to Bo Melton at the end of the half, big 40-plus yard shot play against the Bears a couple weeks ago, or a rainbow ball to Christian Watson up the right sideline to in Detroit. Unless it's one of those types of plays, Packers ain't scoring touchdowns, man. It's a tough way to live. Tough way to have to make sure you score TDs. Or, I'm sorry, you could also go for the Josh Jacobs 40-yard run in Denver. But again, it's big explosive plays. They score TDs. If they're down in the red zone, it's a field goal time.
I mean, it's crazy to think that the stat is actually factual, where there have been 10 games this year where a team has not.
This is crazy.
Teams are 8-2, and the only two losses are both Packers games, where you lose to Carolina and Chicago. And combined in those games, I believe 1 of 10 on third in the red zone, and it's just. Some of it also was what had kind of plagued the offense early on in the year, where everything seemed like it was crescendoing on third down, where it's like, if you do have to drive, go and dink and dunk and do that, where, Brady was saying, like, this is some of my favorite thing. It's so surgical. It's awesome. It takes the will and the spirit away. It's also freaking hard. Like, it is really, really
hard to do
repeatedly all the way down the field. And then once the field condenses, and that's how you've been making your hay, to try and be successful doing it that way without extreme creativity. And I think that's where, you've really struggled to see the Packers be able to find the gotcha play in the red zone. Kind of like Clint Kubiak dialed up on that Thursday night, where the tight end who no one's ever heard of before and doesn't even get to stand up on the celebration. The guy that catches the earlier one takes the moment. He's like, I'm taking this.
It's mine
now. And all of a sudden he leaks out and nobody even knows that he's eligible. Like, that part has been lacking. And I wonder if we're saving them for later into the year.
It's getting kind of late there. I don't know how much saving we can do anymore. But I'm with you. How about a Darian Kennard touchdown reception? That, he's playing tight end. Now he's working as a 6 offensive lineman, but he's reporting as eligible. Kennard out into the end zone. Let's do one of those. Come on.
Dude, my heart broke for Jake Matthews this weekend. Did you see that? Did you see where he gets the one chance?
The one time.
chance, the one time we're going to throw the quietest Hall of Fame career of that you'll ever see is what Jake Matthews potentially put together down there in Atlanta.
Yep.
Son of a gun. Right through his hands. I mean,
it always works in practice when there's no pressure, when there's no heat on, right? Look no further than that slant play to Julius Peppers back in the day down in New Orleans. They ran that all week and they're feeling great about it. And then the moment arrives, Rodgers puts a little extra heat on it. Peppers ain't quite, used to that heat. Then, incomplete. That's just most of those trick plays. You rep it a million times, but you can't replicate that juice that happens when you're in the game, And if you're someone, to your point, that never ever does it,
ever.
Yeah,
I got a
a
sneaky suspicion Jake Matthews was never under the weight limit in youth football to be able to touch the rock. I think him and I found ourselves in that same class. But maybe the Darian Kennard touchdown play is
all for it, baby.
Maybe that's in that drawer that got lit on fire with the David Bakhtiari touchdown play that they tried to run. But maybe we dial that thing back up, or maybe this is the one that again Sometimes I guess I'm maybe too big on it's a player-driven game, player-driven league.
No, it is.
When your multiple-time Pro Bowl running back doesn't fumble the ball on 1st and goal at the 5.
That would be nice.
Like that would be.
I would appreciate it.
And what a soul-crushing moment that could have been in a backbreaker for the opponent if you find your way into the end zone and standing up the way he has a number of those scores this year in the red zone. And I don't know, Nags, what you took from LaFleur on Saturday or on Sunday after the game.
Right.
It did appear to me he was doing a very good job of saying, like, he might have been dinged, but we're not going to talk about it. We're going to move off from that. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You guys want to ask me about it again? Not going to
talk about it. Well, and then, I had people kind of asking me after the game, how does he know, or how does he not know why Jacobs didn't get, carries after that fumble? Was he benched? No. Was there any official injury report? No. So what happened? Well, Ben Searmans, the running backs coach, inserts Emmanuel Wilson. We know Jacobs has been banged up. I mean, the guy started last Monday on crutches and then played on Saturday night. So, he's, fighting through whatever, a number of things, right? And Wilson got hot and was running well. Yeah. So I don't think there's any great conspiracy here. I think, well, he fumbled. He's banged up. Wilson's running really well. There's no need to kind of put our guy back in harm's way when we're operating just fine on offense. We've got total control of the game. It's just there. People want to try and make that into something. I don't see something there, but maybe I'm naive. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. And it also was one of those that it just kind of felt like to me made too much sense, right? Like when you do have somebody who is clearly cooking.
He was averaging like 5 yards a carry.
Yep. And did you notice where a lot of those runs were coming from? Right behind that right side.
Yeah. Come on.
Behind that nice little right side,
which is funny too, Billy, because at the start of the game, they were very clearly, they thought they had something there, right? Mm-hmm. Like they were very clearly trying to run behind those guys like Belton and Kennard and Morgan. And it wasn't working at first. Mm-hmm. But then it's interesting. Once Malik gets in there, the whole approach from the defensive side of things has to change because they are worried about his running ability. Suddenly some of that stuff started to pop.
Yeah, in Nags, I think that's the easiest explanation where Armin will keep and I use Armin because he says it all the time. He's like, really, I don't understand it. They just block better when he's in the game. Like the guys block better.
It's a totally different math equation.
Because of what you just explained of the hesitation that linebackers have to have, knowing in the little subtle pause that you have to play with, because he can keep it out the back end and be just as explosive. And you saw it when he runs around on the 4th and 1. Booker's what? He wasn't supposed to be able to do that. There's a little bit of stunned nature, like, oh, whoa, okay, so we definitely have to account for him. And it's easier to get up to a combo block when there's a split second of pause from an inside linebacker who's not running head first down into the B gap to lock something up. So and we already had it for the last 2 days, and I know you probably had it all over Packers Daily, and when you're talking with Andy, like they won't miss a beat. They won't miss a beat if Malik Willis plays. They won't miss a beat to a certain level, but there are levels to this thing. And if you're going to win multiple playoff games, you're going to have to be explosive. And the offense loses its explosivity when Jordan's not on the field.
Correct. 1,000% correct. And look, certainly it is such a luxury to have a Malik Willis.
Big time.
Especially the way that they now seemingly are just seamless when it comes to, okay, we've got to change the approach. We've got to go to Malik ball, as it were. I mean, they've done it not so many times, but they've done it enough now where the operation really didn't skip a beat. Like, yes, the offense looks a little different, but man, they know the route. They know the kind of score, the assignments. They know everything that's expected of them when they're approaching it differently on offense. And that's, again, a testament to the coaching staff. Now, I know we're not supposed to be praising the coaching staff after a loss, but that is a testament to the coaching staff.
Do you think, and I want to say it was Pete who asked him the first time that Malik came in this year, like, do you think you need to have a little package for him?
It was Pete, yes.
Do you think with the lack of red zone success that actually gets broached more significantly in the office this week? Like, what do we have to lose in the red area?
Yeah, you see, it's so funny because legitimately, Corey and I talked about this like 2 months ago. So I got to think, if the knuckleheads like us are talking about it, they have to be discussing it at some point, right? But I would have thought something would have materialized by now if there was any kind of earnest thought into maybe including that in the offensive package. But it's pretty clear there isn't. You know, we're week 17 now. Like, maybe coming off of this game in particular, their struggles in the red zone, possibly. But yeah, man, it makes a world of sense. It makes a world of sense to me. But God knows the Green Bay Packers have thwarted sense more times than I can remember.
Yeah, sense isn't necessarily traffic in the NFL all the time. Common sense, definitely not. But like, and again, it's high school football to professional football. This is a much different deal. But there's always going to be a reluctance, right? The last thing anybody when I was coaching football wanted to do was on 3rd and 4th and short, bring in the middle linebacker to run triple option inside veer,
right?
When all you do is run on the outside.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do everything that we don't
ever do with regularity in practice at all.
But it's exactly what has not been practiced on the other side. And I would be interested, Nags, like that would be the club into the bag over the last couple of weeks. And maybe the injury again reemphasizes, hey, let's give ourselves at least other alternatives in the red zone to not just throw the ball 35 yards, which is a nice throw. It's a good throw.
Beautiful,
it's right there.
Beautiful throw.
But it's gonna have to be perfect on both sides. Let's give ourselves a couple of other angles. And I would just not be, out of all the times that we've heard it asked on Packers OT, and I have laughed off the story, like, no, they're not taking Jordan Love off the field. All right. Can we stop asking this question? This is the time that I'm asking the question because
you've come full circle.
I've now come full circle with it that I think it now makes too much sense to not try because your red zone offense is such cheeks that you need to try and do something different.
My guy Robin here on the chat, man, God bless him. He's spot on here. Red zone bootleg, please. Look, this is every single game. I think at some point on Watch Party, I'll say, just load up the right side, naked boot out of the back end, touchdown. Because that's how simple it feels like it should be. But, of course, there's no easy button. These defensive coordinators get paid to be expecting that, and the players practice against it. But it does feel like so much is kind of pressured on and pinpointed on like your front side action. It just feels like, especially with Malik, just naked out the back end and should be wide open. Should be able to outrun anybody who's coming after him.
And if it's a one-on-one, I feel pretty confident that he's going to be able to get freaky and break one tackle, right? Like there's a thought that he's going to be able to make something happen. And you talked about the value and touched upon it. Immediately we get the question of what does he do in the offseason and there's a long time for those conversations. I will say, and it would be interesting to know what his options will be. but I don't know that his value is as high anywhere else as it is right here in Green Bay, where he's got banked reps, understands the offense, and like you just said, insane confidence within the building when he comes in that stuff doesn't go completely haywire.
One spot I could see is Miami. Like, especially if they're moving past Tua as a bridge quarterback on a team that is very predominantly run-centric.
Yep.
You know, McDaniel, like, there's similarities there. McDaniel and LaFleur, the terminology is probably a little different, but the concepts are probably very similar. That's one spot where I could see, and they're not going to give him a monster deal, but I could see them like viewing him as their bridge guy for a guy that they draft. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks, man, because it's going to really, really be hard to watch him go. But you can't pay everybody, and he can make some money on the open market, right? That's going to happen. So
what do you think?
Tough deal.
What do you think, though, their investment in a backup will be? Because I
talking
think
about the Packers?
The Packers investment.
They'll draft somebody.
The more and more I see the way that this is played out, I wonder if Brian goes, yeah, all right, sweet. Let's figure this out. Let me scour around here and
find some change. Russ Ball, make it happen.
Hey, Matt, what do you think you can do with one Anthony Richardson? Just don't ask him to do anything with an exercise band. Like,
seriously.
And I'm saying like the reclamation project.
Yeah.
Sure, they've casted him off over here. Guy can clearly play. Let's see if he can.
He's got talent.
He can do something with him. Yes, let's see what the talent can do. Because Malik Willis, that was the one thing. You could see his talent, but there were a lot of people that didn't think he could read defenses. Didn't think he understood at all the why of why stuff was happening.
Right.
And I'd be interested to see if they say, let's go with a little bit more of a vet that we can teach this stuff to, other than, capped off Sean Clifford here. But I'm interested to see what they end up rolling with, because I do think it's going to be an interesting one.
I suspect it'll be a combination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Brian has traditionally thrown like kind of just assets at a problem. And I think that will most likely be the approach when it comes to the offseason, which we're not at yet. We're not there. We still got a couple games to go, and then probably, hopefully, maybe, possibly some postseason action. So there's a lot of ball game left, Billy, before we got to start talking about offseason moves. That's what I'm
saying.
Got
one Pro Bowler?
That makes sense. I'm not surprised.
Wow. One Pro Bowler.
Well, just fuel for the fire. Fuel for the disrespect card that they get to play.
How do you only get one strong safety into the game? How are we only playing with one strong safety? Oh, that's right. They're not playing football. Sorry.
They're not playing football. They're like,
that's true.
They're doing like,
what are we talking about?
Like carnival games or some stuff. And
Evan Williams needs to be playing pool. Do you understand how good at dodgeball Evan Williams would be for the NFC right here?
But we don't see. He's not going to be playing in that because he's going to be busy. Because he's going to be.
Oh, that's fair. Going to the Super Bowl.
Playing the Super Bowl. So we don't even need to worry about it. We got a lot more to worry about on the flip side, including reading a bunch of your chats, your texts, if you're so inclined. Billy and I here, we're still optimistic because that's what we are. That's what we do. That's how we live. It's how we breathe. Green and gold got 2 more games. We're going to be here through it all. That's Bill. I'm Aaron on Carry the G Radio.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the land on the run. Land on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to number 1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number 1 single, Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way. Every day, I want you, show me the way. Night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at the most.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots score their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, tour the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to whip me a leather. My baby used to whip me a leather.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Brett Eldridge to discuss how much he respects and appreciates the process of songwriting.
I'm such a studier of the songwriter and kind of even more than artists, I'm more in awe of the songwriter because they're the people that create this stuff with us and create stuff for us, and I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing a lot of the time. So I just show them that, and so I go in there, I start singing, and maybe it's cool, I guess. I mean, it ends up something came out of it, but it's just like I never know exactly. These people I'm so nervous sometimes. Even my best friends that I write with all the time, I'm like, I have to bring my A game every time because they're gonna think, I want them to think that they're writing a song for me. I want to be a big part of this song. I'm a singer-songwriter, but I want to make sure that they believe that, and so I always feel like I got to sell myself. So hopefully it works out.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Brett Eldridge and all your favorite artists.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
That's right. Getting in the holiday spirit here on Carry the G Radio. Billy, I'd be remiss not to say Merry Christmas, brother. I won't see you until after the holidays. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Very excited to go and finish up the holiday shopping after we're done here coming up and just get the last couple of things. I had this great idea in my mind with the two young boys.
There are always great ideas in the mind.
And I was going to bring both of them, to a store, brick and mortar store, actually.
An actual walk into physically store. Yeah.
And then, they were going to pick out something for mom. They grab something for mom.
Lovely. Nice idea.
I have asked my son Carson, the now soon to be 3-year-old, like 15 times. We got to get mommy a gift. He goes, "No, mommy, no gift.
No, mommy, no gift.
Mommy get no gift. I get
cold-hearted, man.
I get gifts. I'm like, well, listen, if we don't return the favor, them gifts are going to start drying up. That well is going to run dry. So I've
got some work to do there, Billy. Some work to do.
Yeah, I've decided that I'm just going to punt on that idea, and Dad's just going to go get them. So we're going to figure out exactly what, he definitely would have bought for Mom, which is, probably a Packers t-shirt or a Brewers one. So we'll see. My wife's definitely going to enjoy a lot of sports stuff for Christmas because it's the only thing I know how to pick out.
There, you don't want to venture outside of your comfort zone.
Why'd you give me a 5950 fitted Packers hat for Christmas? Well, I thought you were a 7.5/8.
Perfect.
I thought it was perfect for you, right? I guess I
guess I'll take that off your hands if you don't want it. Then that's perfect. See, I'd say what I got my girlfriend for Christmas, but I know she's right behind the door of my studio. Right here, and I know she's listening. So her thing is always, so what'd you get me? Trying to get me to like slip up and like just start saying what I've gotten her. But on the flip side, she hasn't gotten done a lick of shopping yet, and she's doing everything tonight. So
my girl, yeah, and the worst thing was when the biggest one was spoiled when my wife said, "This is what I really want for Christmas, and if you don't get this, I'm gonna buy it myself." I was like, "Okay, sweet. I guess that's what we're getting for. I guess that's what we're getting."
Makes it easy at least, right?
That
Like
sounds awesome.
exactly what to get.
And the bad thing is now it's like, all right, the towel warmer's been sitting there for a month, in the box, but just out in the open. So it's like I'm gonna wrap it. It's like, are you gonna wrap it at some point? Yeah, at some point I'll wrap it. Yeah.
So does she act like she's surprised when she opens it?
She's moved it probably 4 or 5 times. Like, so, I mean, that's the better part. That like definitely had it, but there's a couple that I've kept in secret. So I think I've built it to the point where she thinks, all right, sweet. All Buddy got me was
this is all I get, right?
The towel warmer that I legitimately sent him the link to said, "Hey, buy it before 5 because it's a lightning deal on Amazon Prime Day." And then I didn't, and I got a different one. So we'll see how it works out. But I got a couple that might be in reserve.
Man, you are just it's execution, Billy.
Oh,
it's execution, a lack of execution. Like,
and we practiced it all year. We practiced it all year.
Repped it all week.
Right here, I got the notes app. I got the notes app. Allie Christmas gifts. You know what's on there? I misspelled bracelet, so it said bracket, and I had no clue what it was.
Bracket.
So we practiced this all year long, and we still can't figure it out.
Well, if our listeners are out there, if you're out there on YouTube and you're wondering, wait, it's late in the day, and there's only a couple days until Christmas, and I'm wondering what to get the Packers fan in my life. Let me tell you, Billy. If you're in the great state of Wisconsin, you got to grab yourself some Carry the G Cream Ale, people.
Now,
the official beer of Cheesehead TV. Give it to your loved ones. They'll thank you for it,
and they might even give you one too,
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Because it is the season. Because it is the season of giving, right? And Nags, I don't know exactly if you say it this way, but a Carry the G is always better with friends.
Yes, 1,000%.
Always better with friends, and
now there's no shame in being by yourself and drinking all 4.
Not at
all.
Out
of the 4-pack.
Not at all. Now it's definitely, and it's always better to know that you're seeing that Carry the G and you're grabbing it from the cooler. And not from that reserved rack where they put up the sign that you're like, wait, you actually can only put 3 digits next to that? Wow, that's crazy.
That's all that is. Okay.
It's crazy. That's crazy how that is. Must be awful.
Must be terrible beer. Must be skunky beer. They're clearly just trying to get rid of it because they've priced it at $2.99 for a 4-pack.
I can't wait to see the expiration date on that bad boy when I open it. Right? When you can get something that's supposed to be a celebration for less than what my PBR tall boys are, that's when you know you might not have.
All I can say, Billy, is the market has spoken. That's all I can say about that. The market has spoken. The Green Bay Packers need to do some speaking on Saturday night. Man, just beat the Ravens. I'm sick of losing. 2 losses in a row. Like, 1 loss is tough enough to handle, but 2, especially in a game that you had total control of. We're going to get into this on the flip side because, man, there is something that needs to happen here in Green Bay with these Packers. It is all well and good to talk about the depth and the talent and the roster construction and all these guys who have stepped up, whether it is Malik Willis. You have a running back, your all-star running back go down. No problem. Emmanuel Wilson comes in, rips off 5 yards of carry. Not a problem. You lose Evan Williams. It's no problem because Javon Bullard steps in at safety and is lights out, has a great game. That's all well and good. But if your front line, core starting players don't start playing more consistently and better, I'm looking at you, Keyshawn Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, Aaron Banks. I'm looking at you, most of the interior of the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these cats, their core guys have to play better. especially in bigger moments.
Yeah.
Like
And
that
Nate,
has to occur or the season's done.
they will not win any playoff games if Xavier McKinney is unable to corral at least one
Catch
to
the ball
two
that's thrown to him.
the opportunities that are thrown to him. Like he's in perfect position. He's right there. But you gotta make game-changing plays to be able to win playoff games. And if Keyshawn Nixon dropping a pick six in San Francisco in 2023 isn't the greatest example, it's multiple times over the last 4 losses where balls have hit defensive backs in the hands and have been unable to come up with them. And like the ones over the top on McKinney just became such commonplace, just became such a layup at that point, that when the ball clanks off of his hands in back-to-back games, you're like, wait, what are we watching here?
What the hell is happening?
And it almost feels like a confidence deal. But you're spot on, Nags. And as brutal as it is to discuss, because it's a lot easier to fire someone. It's a lot easier to, we just swap this guy out and it'll be a lot better. When it's your best players needing to be their best, that's always what's going to be required to be able to get all the way home. But when your role players are playing exceptionally well,
lights out.
And it's the exterior, the guys that are right there in the middle, right in the foundation, that have been leaky. It definitely is just mind-numbing because those become layups. You anticipate Xavier McKinney makes a game-changing play if he has the opportunity in back-to-back weeks. He's done the exact opposite and given a breath of life back into the opponent when they're trying to hand you a shot.
It's the worst. Or, a core guy like Romeo Dobbs who repped it all week and then blows it in the game itself.
Yeah.
Can't have it, man. These are your core players. They have to rise up to the occasion. They have
and Chuck said, how about Rashawn Gary? Yes, Rashawn Gary right there in the middle.
A
yes,
billion percent
Rashawn Gary
included in this chat. Yes, 1,000%. And look, Rashawn actually had a couple of nice pressures in this game. A couple of times he flushed the quarterback out of the pocket as he's supposed to do, which is great. I'm very excited about it. But holy cow, I need this cat to close at some point. I need this guy to stop jogging like the 4th play of the game. He's supposed to be the motor guy. And he's like giving up on plays. That is hard to watch. That is tough stuff.
Didn't think it was a surprise, or didn't think it was a, what are we trying to say here? A coincidence that it was Lucas Van Ness and Brenton Cox.
Yeah.
To close out the game. Now, if there's anything, and I know you've probably had a lot of Rich Bisaccia conversations and Matt LaFleur conversations, coaching a big part of it. If there would be one quibble I could have coaching-wise with Saturday night, Nags, maybe we burn one of those 3 timeouts that we took into overtime during that last drive, right? Like when they're fighting the clock, I get not necessarily want to, but that was the moment where like you could tell, I think we all saw the pass rush was gassed. And that would have been the time to say, I'm going to force Fox to take a 2-minute and 30-second television timeout.
Man, let's
and
catch our breath.
As much of a breath and call.
Offensive coaches, though, they hate spending that stuff on the defense. They just hate it. It's so wild to me. I totally agree with you, but it's just not in their mindset.
That's the one. Like, and especially to that point, you would think the offensive coach goes like, damn, I am going to mess up his rhythm here real quick.
Yep.
Like, I know what he's thinking.
Do
and
something.
I'm going to take him in front of that 4th down play, Nags. Once they come out in formation, burn one, make you call it again.
Yep.
Make you call it again.
1,000%. Dare you to call it again because we just saw the formation you came out in. Like, okay, run it now that I've had a moment to look at it. Lots more to get to. Lots of folks chiming in on the chat. We'll get to your super chats on the flip side. That's Billy. I'm Aaron. Hour 2 of Carry the G Radio coming up right after this.
It's the holiday season, and here at the game, we want to wish you a very happy holidays. Enjoy the season of celebrations, and thank you for listening. In Wisconsin, we experienced some amazing sports moments in 2025. Here is one of our favorites.
And he pulls this one deep to left center, way back, and gone! The Brewers strike first in Game 5. And Vaughn with a drive, left field, pretty deep. This ball is gone! Andrew Vaughn has vaulted the Brewers into the lead in Game 5. Terang the battle. And Terang drives one. Center field. Way back there. Gone! Bryce Terang, his biggest swing as a Brewer. A huge homer in the 7th. Cubs down to their final out. Carson Kelly grounded to short. Ortiz makes the play. Ball game over. The Brewers will play for the pennant.
Excited for more celebrations in 2026.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
I love this fight for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said,
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number 1 album in the U.S. and the U.K. and a number 1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number 1 single and a number 2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, had a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who.
Won't you fly?
Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score number 1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. number 1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia Blue-Eyed Soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. number 1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their 2nd number 1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at number 1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the number 1, Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean, you know.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game. This is Carry the G, a show about everything Packers.
Let's go!
Green Bay Packers, woo!
And other stuff we love.
Oh, we just like to have some beers and a little tailgating.
Now please welcome the man who carries the G 24/7 from Cheesehead TV, Aaron Nagler.
Carry the G Radio Hour 2 coming at you. Bill Schmid, Aaron Nagler here, ready to, I guess, turn the page from this debacle against the Bears for the Packers to face off against the Ravens. Who knows who's playing quarterback for either of these teams on Saturday night, Billy? Hopefully we get some kind of update regarding Jordan Love and Malik Willis here from Matt LaFleur a little later today. But right now, it could be Clayton Tune for all we know, Billy.
Listen, Houston Cougars go crazy. Clayton Tune get himself out there and have himself a banner of a day. Who knows?
Let's do it, baby.
I will maybe I put my foot in my mouth yesterday when I joined Tim Allen and Hunter Baumgart in the afternoons, where I said, like, listen, I'd kind of be surprised, might have been strong, but like as I look at the way most injuries go in terms of concussions with quarterback, a lot of times you're able to return after 1 week. But this year it maybe has been a tick different. Like when you look at CJ Stroud missing multiple games. Now that was a devastating blow. Not to say the Booker shot wasn't a hell of a hit on Love. But just like a little different on the circumstances. So speculating on a head injury is about as difficult as anything, and that's why they always say that's why they say on the broadcast, we're not going to speculate on the injuries.
While they speculate on the injury,
it's questionable. Well, he's in an air cast, so I think we're going to speculate. Good. I think there's a better chance, and I would say this just from years of circumstances and watching it in context. I think there's probably a better chance that Jordan might play than potentially Lamar Jackson on the other side.
I kind of agree with you, especially working in his favor and the Packers' favor is the fact that it's the first concussion of Jordan Love's NFL career. Traditionally, you're not gone as long when that occurs, but everyone's different. Every reaction by the player is different. So, like you said, like decent chance, but we'll see. We kind of hold our breath here as Packers fans waiting for that news, which hopefully, again, comes later today.
Yeah, and the interesting part of it is I think we've seen a lot of players this year, and I think Matt talked about it maybe last week or the week before, of players discussing and having maybe a tick more say in their
out there
availability. This is one where he can't.
Nope.
Right? Like the only
gotta
thing
be signed off on. Yeah.
The only thing
100%.
Jordan can say that would have him having say is outwardly lying to the doctors, where if he does feel symptoms after cardiovascular activity or whatever it is in his return to play, and then say, nope, I'm nothing. I'm all fine.
I'm good.
That's the only way. And as somebody that, seen a lot of people with some head injuries, that's the last thing I would urge anybody to do. So this is one where like you're not going to be able to campaign and say, no, I think I want to test it with my oblique against Myles Garrett. And then, one play in, you realize you can't play.
You can't be doing that. Before we turn the page completely, I do want to get to a bunch of these super chats here, mostly from Mike Witt, because gosh knows Eeyores are out after a game like that. You got to love it. Mike asks, were you guys a little surprised the Bears didn't go for 2 after the touchdown? I actually was a little bit. I still think Golden has better hands than Romeo. Proud Eeyore here. I mean, I very much agree that Golden has better hands than pretty much anyone on the team. I'd like to get that memo to Matt LaFleur at some point, but that's neither here nor there. As far as the Bears not going for 2, I wasn't, just because of the fact that they had, up until that point, like they had 9 points in the game or whatever it was, like they had not been very successful, especially like punching it in. It felt like Ben Johnson understood the moment. They had momentum at that point, and he knew just get it to overtime. And I like our chances, is what that felt like to me, Billy.
And it's a weird difference where, like, all the fans last week said, well, he was going to go for 2 if they scored that touchdown in Green Bay. Okay, sweet. And he totally would have gotten it. Like, I mean, we're just like,
that's automatic.
Okay, automatic. Get that game over. I do think it's probably a little different at home and on the road.
Yes.
And the way you said it, like, I think it works 2 ways. If you feel like it is as much of a highway robbery and they're going to be able to respond out of the timeout, then I do go for 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we got these cats all on their heels, completely in their own head. Finish it right here. And the Packers had 3 timeouts. I think that probably played some into the equation, albeit it didn't really matter because Montez Sweat just ate up Malik Willis on the next play. But I think that was part of it. Those three timeouts were probably the biggest reason why he looked at it and said, I'm not going to, because we're 2 plays away from them having a chance to walk it off, knowing they have to go and score right here.
Yeah. But, the hindsight, all that stuff, we'll see next time around if it gets to that here in the playoffs, which there's a possibility, and I relish that opportunity myself.
I think it's happening. I can't wait.
That's just me. Mike also says 4th and 26, 2014 NFC Championship game, Michael Vick game in the playoffs, and Saturday night. What did we ever do to piss off the football gods? Man, you didn't even include losing a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it happens, dude. They play football and they play a lot of big games, and sometimes these heartbreaks happen. And I'd take this a million times over being a Jets fan or a Browns fan. Like, this is the price of admission to loving the Green Bay Packers. Like, yeah, you're going to get your heart stomped sometimes. It just makes, as Billy said at the top of the show, it makes the victories all the sweeter. Or it should, except for some folks who seem to think victory is a birthright and they just happen automatically and there's no effort put forth, so they don't appreciate them. That's, just a little anecdotal observation there, Billy. On my end.
Yeah, as Bill Simmons once wrote on Grantland, the consequences of caring. I like that. That's just what it is. Like it matters, and the games matter way too much for you to not have some of those situations. The other team, those are some of their greatest moments in the world. The one thing that you also didn't put on there is the heartbreak for the Atlanta Falcons of being the best team in the NFL, and all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers and company systematically destroying them, as Wayne Larrivee said on the broadcast. Not since the Civil War has Atlanta been decimated like they have been here tonight. There's times where you kind of forget that it's a tick for tack deal.
A couple of years ago, everyone thought Packers going down to Dallas, going to get absolutely smoked, going to get obliterated by this high-octane Dallas Cowboys offense, and then the exact opposite happened. And how sweet was it? How much did you relish that as a Packers fan? I hope you did, because it was awesome.
Yeah, I've watched it a number of times. I've watched it 100 times.
So good.
The other one is, Nags, and I do like the omissions of certain ones. I would put the 2015 game in there in Arizona as damn near worst of the night, where you are the team that battles all the way back, as improbable of a comeback as you could possibly have, and then just to get Larry Fitzgeralded like 2
in
plays
one play. Oh, Lord.
That was about as wait, what happened? I just went to go to the bathroom. I thought we were playing overtime here. That is the one that will sit back and be like, holy cow, how on earth did that happen?
So many of them. There's so many. I mean, talk about, there's another Arizona game where, the Cardinals walk it off on an uncalled face mask penalty / fumble. Like, there's a list. There's always a list. And as I was explaining to my daughters the other day, because they were like, in the off season, like, what do they show on NFL Network? And I said, this is what happens. They replay big classic games, and inevitably there's some heartbreaking loss by the Packers in the playoffs in the mix throughout the summer, almost every single week, because they've had so many of them. So
yeah, when they do the and the worst is when it comes with like because they name the Hall of Famers, and they're like, this is the week that we air all of Tom Brady's
right.
This is the week that we air all of, and just like, how on earth, how did we find our way into this one?
What does it have to do with the Packers? Leave us
alone.
No
business being on this. Now all of a sudden we got to watch J.J. Watt as a Texan. Like, that makes no sense.
No.
But the Brady one, even in 2020, and again, that doesn't
another one
right at the end. But that was the one that my 2-year-old decided to bring up a number of different times. He goes, Packers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. I'm like, yeah, sadly, buddy. Let me sit down and tell you a story. Sit down and tell you a story about how
we don't talk about that.
Your dad and our Uncle Tyler sat down at Lambeau Field in section 113 and started banging a piece of cardboard onto the bleachers for 3 hours until Dad couldn't stand because he had too many Miller Lights trying to drown away the sorrow of the third quarter, and then realized that the game was right in the balance.
Most certainly was. I don't need it. I don't need it, Billy. Thanks, Mike, for bringing up old wounds. Mike. Really, really happy about it.
Merry Christmas, Mike.
He also says all we need is a blocking tight end. We already have Wiley and Luke for catches. Been saying for weeks, sign Big Dog. You want the AARP representative out there trying to block for you? Is that what you're saying?
Get Kennard out there instead.
They'll get Kennard. They'll maybe bring up somebody from the practice squad, but the Big Dog thing is a fun kind of talking point, but I don't see it happen, especially since it hasn't happened already. Very unlikely that it's going to
No, and I think it's one of those, if you could somehow extend, and I think maybe the NFL should look into it, extending the trade deadline. Now, what they don't want is what happens on Christmas Day, where you get 3 straight up Chiefs games because teams are so bad at this point in the year, and then
just banged up
players and banged up. But dang, with David Njoku for like a 5th round pick have looked really a little bit better. Like you find something during that deadline time after the Kraft injury where you could say it's pretty clear and evident we're going to need something here, and to have that opportunity sure would be nice. Not sure the Packers would ever taken it, but it would be nice to at least have that. As
they would get outbid in the process, is what would happen. We know that's
paying the league minimum.
I mean, speaking of the Christmas lineup, man. You're talking about the Chiefs have lost not one now, but 2 quarterbacks in a row to injury. Like, when they go, and it's not an if, when they go to 18 games, they have got to put a second bye week in this thing. It has to happen. There is no way on earth there should be another game included unless there's a bye week included to just help these guys towards the end of a season get just recalibrated. No one's going to get healthy. Right? You're still going to be banged up, but just you can help recalibrate your roster a little bit kind of for these stretch runs where it legit almost comes down to, okay, who has suffered the most, catastrophic injuries? Okay, you're probably done. That's
Used to be the hottest team. Now it's the healthiest and hottest team.
Yep.
That makes
1,000%.
And I'm with you. I also think there's just some scheduling gymnastics that you move around really quickly. You play starting on Labor Day weekend. You add in the extra week. You add in the extra game. You're finishing up on President's Day weekend.
That's their dream.
Now that just makes too much sense, Nags.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see. I'm excited to see what we do in the process of getting to that spot.
You mean what we do instead of that? Because
makes
so much sense.
But kind of like the college football playoff, they'll do something totally different.
Yep.
And then while that first year is happening, be like, you know what we should have done?
We should have done this thing that makes total sense that everybody was talking about.
Games with 2 bye weeks. What do you guys think of that? Hey, been saying it for 5 years.
Oh my God.
So that potentially is on the horizon where they just do the little pit stop deal where all of a sudden, like the first 12 team college football playoff has not even happened yet. And they're like, you know what we should do? 16.
Oh God.
We should do 24. So they'll I almost had an issue. They'll mess with it. They'll mess it up first.
Yes, they will.
And then change it up again.
Mike also says, imagine this. If both Love and Willis are out Saturday, Packers sign Sean Clifford from the Bengals practice squad. The Clifford Truthers will be back. I hope it doesn't happen. It won't happen. Clayton Tune will be the guy. He's been in their building since, the summer. That the Sean Clifford thing ain't going to happen.
What numbers are you wearing?
Who's that? Clayton Tune?
Clayton Tune, because right now he's sitting in a 19, I believe. And I don't believe they're going to be able to go dual numbers with him and Daniel Whalen. Do we get him in the 6? Do we just rip off the Clifford name tag and just throw him into that old one that they had at that point?
Old one? Yeah, probably. Yeah, they won't double that up, obviously. They won't.
The Kurt Bankert Memorial jersey right there in the number 6.
Or 17. Maybe a little
move McManus, slide him around a little bit.
McManus on something else and get David Whitehurst back in the mix. I'm all for that. Mike also says, all I want for Christmas is Vikings beating a Lions Christmas night so we rest our injured guys and get ready for the playoffs. Colin Oliver breakout game Saturday. I like how Mike fits in so many different kind of aspects of what he's thinking. It's like free form. It's like we're talking resting starters. We're talking about Lions. We're talking about all this stuff. And then Colin Oliver breakout game.
But let me see the guy that's got one practice. let me make sure that we don't have a Hall of Famer in his.
Can we see if he's active on Saturday first before we start talking about a breakout game?
I didn't know if it was just the people that the algorithm that I was seeing, but I saw him in really sweet Evan Siegel still shots during practice, and I'm like, guys, he's got rolled up sleeves like it's August. If that's the most recent shot that we have, that's probably not going to work.
Not indicative of a guy who's ready to contribute immediately.
But damn, I love the unwavering belief Like the unwavering belief that somebody in green and gold that we have right here,
right?
Our draft and develop process is so good. We might have Lawrence Taylor 2.0, and we just haven't unwrapped him yet. Like
that's possible, Billy. It's all entirely possible. There's one really sweet rep that he had in college that has been making the rounds on Twitter. That's what everyone's ready for. They're ready for that rep every single play of every single game for the rest of his career.
I don't know. When I think of big time defensive players, I do think of the Big 12.
Oh God! Especially tweeners.
To me.
Especially tweeners who come in and who knows what's going to happen when they're asked to actually play the run. But we'll get there. We'll deal with it. Hey, but speaking of, I'll say in all seriousness, talking about a little juice on the edge. How about Brenton Cox Jr.? He actually played very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like for his first game back since September.
Yep.
That cat looked ready to roll, dude. Like,
and looks like a legit
perfect timing.
Yes. And Nags looks like a legit player because you saw and talk about the college pedigree. You don't get 1 and 2 SEC schools to bring you back in after you get kicked off of one of the teams or released from one of the universities. And then they're like, hey, you know what? We want you. We see that.
Come on over here.
You come over here and play for us.
Shop for us.
And he's a physical specimen that every single year at training camp, I can't wait to see him on the field. So when he's one of the closing guys, I love that. Thinking more and more is going to be necessary for him on the field.
100%. Shout out to the Bears and Ball Show, who carry the G Club member for 38 months. Really appreciate it, man. Halfley called a great game. Humans make mistakes. On to Baltimore.
Damn straight.
See, that's a healthy attitude right there, Billy.
Bears and Ball.
Come on. That's exactly it. Pinpoint accuracy right there. 1,000%. Finally, Jake says, football gods blessed us Sunday, 325. Thank you, 12. How about shout out to Aaron Rodgers? Shout out.
That was huge.
Old man Rodgers still getting it done in Detroit. Absolutely love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
I think my favorite part, though, is still actually watching because I was in a freaking war of bedtime in the midst of that battle. And I'm just getting texts from Armin. I'm looking at my Apple Watch. Oh, my God, they blew it. Oh, my God, what just happened? Oh, my God, how did that work? Oh, my God, it's a touchdown. Oh, my God, St. Brown's so dumb. He's the worst player ever. How did he do that? I had like 12 straight texts, and I'm like, dude, you're not helping right now.
Nothing is helping here.
I have it paused, and I'll go back and text you in like 15 minutes. Give me a break.
I hear the music, which means we got to get to the break here. But I'll give you my play-by-play, Billy, of how I experienced the end of that Steelers-Lions game because it was stupid, but the result is exactly what we needed. Absolutely thrilled. Thanks for the help, old man Rodgers, one last time. Absolutely love to see it. Now the Packers control their destiny. We control our destiny. On the flip side, we're going to keep referencing your chats, your texts, what have you. Get ready to talk about this Ravens game and all the other stuff going on in the NFL. Because, Billy, those Chiefs, they're moving. They're on their way. This has people talking about stadiums, and you're telling me I need to go to Vegas and watch a game.
Oh, you have to.
We're gonna get on all of this on the flip side. I'm excited. That's Billy. I'm Aaron. More to come here on Care of the G Radio.
Be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves upon tropical.
Fox on Tech.
Wall Street is betting big right now that everything you buy and sell, from gold to real estate, will all soon be tokenized, ending slow paper-based trading, moving into the future of 24/7 instant digital trading. Like trading stocks, you own a piece of real estate or gold, for example, but it's bought using stablecoin, and you can do it anytime, day or night. Right now, buying a bond takes about 2 days to finalize. But Wall Street leaders like BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Citi are all preparing, building a tokenized stock exchange to handle these instant trades. However, the U.S. isn't the first country to look to break into this. France unveiled the first ever tokenized stock exchange, calling it the Lightning Stock Exchange, leaving many U.S. crypto advocates frustrated. Here in the U.S., the Genius Act, signed into law by President Trump this year, creating a regulatory framework supporting stablecoins, a key digital asset in tokenization. With Fox on Tech, Darren Vitello, Fox Business.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin. And he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then, could I wake the band up, because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we write two, but mostly one. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released the double concept album Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples leading him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, flipping fingers, never seen him fall. That kept on a blind kid, sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, play across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the land on the run, land on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number 1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes. To listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From a foundation for a better life.
Blue Christmas without you.
Carry the G Radio coming back at you with some King there, some Elvis singing Blue Christmas. Don't let the Packers ruin your Christmas. Don't let it happen, people. I have my co-founder, Corey Banke, on the show yesterday talking about how the Packers have ruined Christmas. Like, there's a game yet to come that's actually closer to Christmas than the game they just lost. So, just enjoy your Christmas. It's going to be okay, Packers fans. I'm here to tell you.
Because they don't play on the 25th?
That's correct. They can't hurt you. They can't hurt you.
They can't hurt you on Christmas Day.
Billy, this is how the shift happens. I've gone from I hate these Thanksgiving games. I'm fine with them playing on Christmas. Now I'm like, don't ever play on Christmas, and I'm fine on Thanksgiving.
And I'll be fine on Thanksgiving.
The shift is happening in real time.
Especially if they just lock them in on that noon boom. That's a lot better because then you can still have a couple of cold ones and really enjoy it later into the night.
The day is stretching out ahead of you. Yeah.
The Christmas one is I am glad, even though I do I love watching sports on the holidays. It's like my favorite.
I love it.
Not watch A Christmas Story, which might be the most overrated movie of all time, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But then to be able to know that, like you just said, you can't win, you can't lose. All you can do is potentially win. The only thing that can happen for the Green Bay Packers on Thursday is them lock up a playoff spot. That's a cool thing.
Not bad. I don't hate it. They can't ruin your Christmas, people. Just enjoy it. Just try to enjoy your Christmas with your family or your friends, whatever you're doing. Just the Packers don't need to enter into it. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just hanging out and just watching old Packers games on Christmas Day, there can be a lot worse lots in life.
There you go. See, there's a great idea.
Go through, like the 2014 NFC title game, like our boy Mike Witt decided to make us run through in the last.
Mike finishes up. Maybe question mark with a chat that says, in all seriousness, guys, I disagree with being a 100% Packers optimistic fan, but respect both of you and wish you two a very Merry Christmas. Still trying to get up to Eeyore #1 status, Nags. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Like, look, nothing wrong with, being optimistic or pessimistic. However you come to the Green Bay Packers is how you do it, and it's totally valid. May not be how I do it, but, different strokes for different folks, and that's totally fine.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Now, I also think the other part of it, Nags, is like if it wasn't for the conflicting pessimist, I'm a realist.
Oh, the realist stuff. And they all have that voice in my head.
As long as we more look at realist, as long as we look at optimist and pessimist, and we can both have a good conversation, I like it because we at least own up to where we're actually
at, where we're coming from.
In with some kind of fake name of that.
No, I love
only deal with real stuff. Oh,
MPBMKE on the YouTube chat put it perfectly. He said, "No, Nags, you don't get it. Celebrating wins is quote living in the past, but lamenting losses is quote being realistic." Like perfect. Absolutely 1000% correct. That's like the dart hitting the bullseye. That is exactly what some folks try to frame it as, right? Like legit, they won. Yeah, well, okay, but they got another hard game coming up, and this just doesn't really mean a whole lot. Like legit, I know people who that is their response when the Packers win a football game, Billy.
Mm-hmm. I've worked with some of them. Oh yeah, it's very much. That's very much it. Where it's just like, well, it's just not.
I'm just being realistic.
And I just knew that there was going to be a play that went against them that they lost, and like, okay, well, that might actually be sports. That might be.
Oh, Billy,
sports.
Can I just tell? Oh, okay, now I'm just going to let this out here because my father and my sister are in town for the holidays. Right, we had a big Christmas dinner the other night here at my apartment. It was beautiful, but my dad. The guy, the man who taught me there's always a lot of ball game left. That's where I got that phrase from my father growing up when the Packers sucked. He would always say, because, something would happen early. Randy Wright would throw an interception, which he did a lot. And I would get very emotional and very upset right away. And Dad, my father, Leonard Nagler, was the guy who would say, a lot of ball game left. Anything can happen. Like he would try to bring me down to earth, right? He'll try to keep me even keeled.
I'm right here.
So that has taken root. And that is like my center as a fan. Like that is my way of approaching the Green Bay Packers. Like a lot of ball game, a lot of season left, blah, blah, blah. My own flesh and blood father at this Christmas dinner out of nowhere. I mean, no football talk has occurred yet at all at this dinner. And suddenly, Dad just outright says, even if the Packers make the playoffs, they're one and done.
Pops!
My dad.
What? Hey, just so you know, it's all Cole at this point.
Nothing but Cole. It's just my own father The man who taught me a lot of ball game left.
It's over. Don't worry about it, son.
You know,
one and done. Just out of the blue.
Just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I think Madeline, my oldest, was talking something about like, you know, one of her jobs or something like at NBC, and there was this kind of pause, you know, natural pause in the conversation, and then he just lays that out there.
That means, and the best thing is then Pops, I respect the absolute hell out of, because he had thought about that next, and he had been waiting for that little breath of silence.
He was just
by the time he got on that plane, he said, I can't wait to let this one out because this is crap.
Although, see, now he says this, right? And this is we're having this dinner during the game between the Steelers and the Lions, which both my sister and my oldest were like, can we turn this off while we eat? We don't need to have this on. Can we turn something else? I'm like, okay, fine. All right. Yeah, so sure. we turn on the fireplace, you know, TV fireplace
great zen.
As we're having the meal, right? Mm-hmm. So then, you know, the meal's done and Dad's like, can we turn the game back on? And I'm like, yeah, sure, Dad, of course. But why do you want it on? The Packers are one and done, even if they make the playoffs. So what does this game even matter, Dad?
Who cares, Pops? Come
He's
on.
He's like, well, I just want to watch the game. Oh, interesting. Okay. Very interesting.
Just out of the clear blue, Pops decides to throw a Wayne Larrivee early third quarter.
I mean, way early dagger. Holy cow.
That's incredible. And the lot of ball game left is very reminiscent to a coach I had at Carroll University, Harvard of Waukesha County. I mean, Riley Hill. He loved it. He fired up with the take. Nothing bad happens on game day. Well, there's a lot of bad things that can happen on game day, but it's all about how you craft it. It's all about how you think about it. On the sideline, we're not going to deal with this bad stuff. We're going to deal with how are we going to get better. How you
respond? It's not about what's happened already.
Respond here with this next one.
There you go.
And that's the only way that we can look at this football team right now, because there has been the last 2 weeks would be a lot of reason to pack it in, feel like Mr. Nagler, and say, oh, I guess I can start booking my vacation for January 15th. But instead, nothing bad happens during football season. We got to go full steam ahead, respond with urgency, and respond with physicality, which was the most physical game that the Packers have played in the division all year long. And I think that even doubled up how physical the game was 13 days prior to against the Bears at Lambeau next. That was a slobber knocker, as my man Jim Ross would like to say.
Oh, big time, without question. I will say though, man, look, I get it. I understand where most fans' heads are probably at. Cannot recommend Spoon's column in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this morning enough for everybody. Every Packers fan should read it. Like, I'm not going to, go too much into it because you should read the article, but just outstanding stuff from Spoon talking about, well, now it's, the time where if LaFleur wants to do something with this football team in 2025, he's got to get complete buy-in from his guys. And like we were talking about earlier, your main cast of characters, your core players, they are the ones who are going to have to get it done. And you're going to need buy-in from all of these cats. And we'll see. We'll see what their mentality is like coming out Saturday night, prime time. Those of you with a Peacock login get to enjoy it unless you're in the local area, and then you get it on NBC. But it's going to be telling to me what they look like coming out of the gate in this game.
Yeah, and that was why I thought the response on Saturday night was pretty important. Like I thought they rose to the occasion early, and I thought that was the first. And now it's a what have you done for me lately? So it'll be exactly what you just mentioned again.
Yep.
Can you do it again? And will you prove that you will do it again and show us that you can respond to the adversity and the challenge again? We talked to Wayne yesterday on the morning show, and I'm pretty confident, similarly to him, that they're going to play extremely inspired and play well. Like I'd be very, very optimistic on that first half. Now I don't know exactly how it'll close because I don't know exactly what's going to transpire and who they're probably going to lose during the game. Like I'm just already baking in the fact that you might
lose You have to
2 or 3 more frontline players. So it might look different in the end of the game, the way the snowball's rolling down the hill. But I feel pretty confident that the juice is going to be sky high and it's going to be hot there on Saturday night coming up at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock kick as well, by the way.
7 o'clock kick.
Not 7:20, 7 o'clock.
7
kick.
On the dot. Set your timers and your calendar invites to remind yourself. I love Uncultured Barbarian here saying, level of Christmas pain after that loss, getting forced to drink eggnog and watch The Sound of Music as a kid every year. Man, I'm sorry. That sounds like a tough upbringing. Every year, The Sound of Music and eggnog. I don't know, man.
Which one's worse for you?
The eggnog.
The eggnog,
Definitely.
yeah.
I can handle Sound of Music. It's a classic musical. We talked
about some movies earlier today, and there's different eras that I have like envy for. Like I definitely think it would have been fun to be a 20-something-year-old in the 80s. Like that might have been a good time. It might have been fun to do radio back in like the 70s and 80s, where you're making just hundreds of thousands of dollars smoking cigarettes in here talking throughout. Like that might have been fun. What would not have been fun is living in the time where the only movies were in black and white. Like when I watched a little bit of White Christmas last night, like that's a time where I'm like, I'm very, very glad that I got to sort through. Did somebody make this on AI generator, or is this a real video of somebody
an actual movie
getting stolen?
What is happening?
Yes, I appreciate that though.
Man, what you got against black and white movies? Come on now. It's a Wonderful Life. Phenomenal film.
They were trying. I appreciated it. And that was the deal. I was
trying.
Proud of you. It was proud of you. I was cheering them on. But
Billy.
Man, Danny Kaye and my man Bing Crosby. Like I was watching it for them, and they were going.
They're great.
They were great. They were great. Everything else around it, I'm like, holy cow.
What about the sisters? Come on, sisters. Come on, you gotta love that bit. It's great.
It's a great tune. No, I'm more just looking at the set moving.
Oh, right. It's kind of right. Moving in the wind.
That was my favorite part. I'm like, it's moving in the wind, like the flag at midfield.
Billy, like you said, they're trying.
They were trying. I was supporting them. I
love it. We got a lot more to get to here on the last segment. My goodness, Billy, we're coming up on the last segment already. My word.
Amazing text in response to Mr. Nagler as well that we'll have to get to on the other side.
Yeah, we'll hit it on the flip side of this final break here at Carry the G Radio. That's Billy. I'm Aaron. More to come right after this.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, golly, what a funny sight. He had a red Stazola. It was like a traffic light.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Micah Monroe of Hulu's remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Winstead hasn't seen the 1992 original, but it still had a chilling effect.
I'm planning on seeing it. I have been meaning to see it since
I feel like
I understand. Like, I knew the feeling of it. Like I remember when it came out, we all knew, even as a 9-10-year-old, I felt it. I was like, what is this movie? And she's a nanny? She's doing what? And, oh my God. Like there was a feeling in the air that I remember, like viscerally.
Monroe said she loves the original and shared how this one differs.
This version is like very grounded and at its core is just, looking at these two, very flawed female characters.
Adding to the tension on screen, the stars kept their distance on set.
It was really great. I think it was like a really collaborative experience in that way. It was only to kind of help aid in the scenes, kept that sort of mystery between us, and we still were like super friendly.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
The stockings are hung, the hot cocoa is hot, and the game is on your radio. It's the holiday season. Happy holidays from the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqua Lungs.
Running down his nose, greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single, Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. Baby, just put me a letter. Baby, just put me a letter.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up.
Carry the G Radio, wrapping things up another week. Can't believe time has flown by the way it has. Carry the G Radio brought to you by Luigi's Pizza each and every week. Luigi's is a Wisconsin-born pizza brand made by local pizza enthusiasts with local cheeses and a flavor that stood the test of time since 1968 across all their lines. They focus on real Wisconsin cheese, crisp crusts, and an easy oven prep, making every pizza night a little simpler and a lot tastier. Luigi's, taste the tradition.
Now, the problem is Luddy and I already finished our Luigi's pizza that we had earlier on here today. Because the funny thing is, as like Tuesdays happen, Nags, we start thinking like, okay, sweet, pizza day. And breakfast pizza day. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, we fire that bad boy up at 6 a.m. We're like, well, it's definitely not making it until 9, but we're going to
happen. It's not going to be there for lunch.
Any time of day is phenomenal. And our friend MPB MKE said, great show today, boys. I got to bounce early for a work holiday party. Never say no to a free lunch. If they're serving Luigi's pizza, I would be there before it starts.
Godspeed.
If you're gonna be hosting a holiday party, you might as well do that, because
just get yourself a bunch of Luigi's and a bunch of Carry the G, and you're set.
And find somebody's office that you just start cooking all of the pizzas in, and then just everybody starts funneling over there.
Exactly.
Over in Jim's office. Somebody's retiring. Somebody's retiring in the building. And there's a big old sheet cake. Yeah. But my man is already out of the building. Yeah. So it's like
he's never coming back.
He's never coming back. So it's like, how on earth do you do? Is it bad if I have a piece and I'm like, hey, happy retirement? But
happy retirement? No, it's not out. That's perfect, actually.
Okay,
that's
good.
Perfect. Hey, that's absolute etiquette right there.
Ate it in the back with my fingers. So I felt like I didn't want anybody to see it. So that's why I just ate it.
You're not supposed to eat it with a knife and fork. And if you do, help your soul, because that's just unfortunate. Uncultured Barbarian also chiming in, by the way. I love movies in black and white. They have a certain something. Your co-host may be a more uncultured man than me.
Very uncultured.
I mean, we're not saying anything we don't know already. I mean, that's for certain. That is for certain. No question about it.
Nags learned that with great force and violence, I think, when we were down in Indiana, as to just how uncultured I am. And
forget that. No. That was fine. It was the Super Bowl down in New Orleans when I'm trying to get you to come out to the club where I was at, and you were like, "Oh yeah, just wait. I'm at the tables. I'm at the casino. Hold on. Just give me 20 minutes." This was true. This is exactly what happened. You were, give me 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, 20 minutes goes by. 30 minutes goes by. 40 minutes goes by. And I'm like, dog, you coming? Like, come on up to the club. And you're like, another 20 minutes from the 40 minutes. Now the texts start getting more and more undecipherable. That's what you texted the next time. And I was like, oh, Billy's not coming. Like, Billy ain't coming.
It was the one heater I caught myself on that trip, and then quickly realized that the heat turns off.
Every time. Every time.
And once the heat stopped, the fun
That's how
stopped.
they get you.
That was for sure.
Mike Witt says, Leonard Nagler on Carry the G next season, Nags? Absolutely no shot. Are you kidding me? That would require him understanding anything having to do with technology, even a phone, and that is not happening. Now, maybe we could, have some kind of special Carry the G in-person event.
Yes.
Invite Dad out to that and let him hold court because, that's easily done. But, yeah, on the show, absolutely not going to happen.
Well, that might be a good idea, and maybe we find a chance for there to be one of those sit-down gatherings where it is.
We
like
do it at a training camp, and
Yep,
everybody comes on out. Yep, I'm down with that. I think Dad would be down with that. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a good one. Beer and ball and pops. Just letting everybody know. A lot of ball game left.
A lot of ball game
except in 2025.
Except in 2025, or even if they make the playoffs, they're one and done. Did anybody ask? No, but I'm going to let you all know it anyway. My own father.
Stuart and Madison. Geez, Nags, your dad sounds like a guy who would root for the guy that gets shot out of the cannon to miss the net. What are we talking about? Not being excited, having.
But this is the thing too. Like he wasn't like that when I was young, but he's 100% that dude now. Like some about old age. The dude is 83, so I guess I understand. But at some point, how did he lose that spark of optimism?
That actually makes me
probably
excited.
by watching the Packers play football.
Yeah, he's been a Packers fan for the last 15 years. Now, I would say I hope and I can't wait to get to that point in my life where I just say, you know what? This sucks. Actually, you know what? They're not going to do? Win.
That's 100. Dude. There was a game years ago. I think it was LaFleur's first season or maybe his second season where they're in Minnesota late in the year and the Packers end up winning the game and claiming the North, right? That's the excitement. But Dad goes to sleep at halftime after watching the first half while reading a book. This is where he's at. It's just, if it's frustrating and if it's not like the Packers just dominating out of the gate, he doesn't want anything to do with it.
He's got to become a fan of an SEC team when they play the Citadel.
Right, exactly. That's what he expects. That is exactly what he expects each and every week. And if it's not that, he doesn't want it.
I love it. God, I want to watch a game with him so bad.
Oh my God. And the worst part is I wasn't really aware until this season. Like 2 visits ago when I went back to Wisconsin, we sat down for dinner. The first thing out of his mouth, not missed you, son. How are you? Great to have you in town. None of that. Can we talk about the atrocious play calling? That was it. That was the opener.
I like that this is also on December 23rd. He's just turning every day into Festivus. He's like, I got a lot of problems with this football
team.
People,
I'm going to let you know about
it. My son's going to hear about it. He's going to tell these people on the internet what's wrong.
That's the thing. It's like, I do this all day, Dad. I beat these people back with a stick. I'm fighting for my life out here trying to carry the G and have some optimism. I don't need my own family coming after me with this.
I really want him next time to be like, you know what those people on your show need to hear? You know what you need to tell those folks on your show?
Oh boy,
this team stinks. That would be the one, because my mom will, and it's like one of my favorite things is my mom listens to every single word I've ever said on the radio,
right,
and remembers
every single thing you've ever said.
Thing I've said on the radio. I don't remember half the stuff I say.
No, I don't remember the stuff I said last week. Are you kidding me?
And immediately it's like, so well, you guys were talking about this. You and Aaron had a really good one like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, Mom, I'm really, really sorry. You're going to have to refresh my memory.
Can you send me the link?
You're going to have to
send me the timestamp.
Otherwise, they'll be like, you guys were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, I'm glad
sure we were.
We were. Let everybody know we were out in front of it. That's going to be the receipt that we have. I
love that your mom listens to your shows. That's awesome, dude. I love it. My parents haven't listened to a word I've said for pretty much my whole life as a Cheesehead TV person. So, Dad reads the website. I know that because he'll always mention like that article you guys had the other day. Like he'll do that, but like me talking into a microphone, no interest.
He's got to be a big fan of Al then.
Nothing to do with it. Oh yeah. Loves Al's, weekly column. He loves that.
Dude, Al's
never misses it.
Al's weekly column is one of my absolute favorite parts of the website.
Rooted mindset, baby. Got to have it.
God. I got to catch my breath, dude. I'm laughing so hard.
It's my father, man. What are you going to do?
Just taking absolute shots, rolling through. 877-794-1973. Rhonda said, hey, the bigger the struggle, the sweeter the victory. Packers will be just fine. Our Super Bowls happen when everyone counts them out. They thrive on adversity. And when we're winning everything, that they falter. And it's when they're winning that everything falters. The struggle is our bread and butter, gentlemen. This woman is excited, and it's going to be a rockin' holiday.
Come on, Rhonda. Okay. Come on.
She also said, no, I'm not drunk yet.
A lot of ball game left.
Let's go. A lot of ball game left.
A lot of ball game left. What is it, like 10:50 out there? Come on. A lot of ball game.
Yeah, a lot of ball game left. A lot of opportunity for still your brunch Bloody Mary to fire up with both football.
And then roll right into the happy hour with your carry the G, and you're ready to go. You're ready to go. What are you thinking, Billy? That I'll tell you what, for all the stuff talked about the quarterback position, obviously in kind of no man's land until we get some information on both of these teams. But I'll tell you what, regardless of whoever's playing quarterback for the Ravens, that defense looks legit as hell, man. That is going to handle all of them. That's a problem, man. Like, I feel confident that the Packers can move the ball. We've talked a lot about the red zone issues, but they got to come correct against a Baltimore defense that has played a lot better down kind of the stretch here the last 3-4 weeks. I know Patriots came back, and that's a very talented team, and a very talented quarterback out there in New England. But, man, they look so much better than they looked early on in the season. Like, they are going to be a problem on Saturday.
Yeah, and you mentioned Kyle Hamilton. Like, it's felt like they've had to move him 4 or 5 different times. And whenever they have to put him in a different spot is when their offense or when their defense starts just attacking at defenses or at offenses. And like they have an aggressive style that they want to play. And Orr is a really good young defensive coordinator. But it seems like they're just going to try to disguise every single thing possible and try to make it difficult for you to decide and decipher what's happening in front. So that's where, if it's a Malik Willis game, I think he's much better at it already so far in his career. But I do believe that this is a defense that you're going to want Jordan Love onto the field because his intellect and his IQ at the line of scrimmage is going to be pretty paramount for them.
Pre-snap, post-snap, getting them in and out of stuff. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And
then just the weird selfish nature of it, I love that we get to watch Derrick Henry at Lambeau Field in December. Now, I don't love that he's not playing for the Green Bay Packers, and I would really like for that maybe one time to have been the case. But for a team that is desperately needing some turnovers and some takeaways,
he might provide some.
He's been fumbling the ball more than Adrian Peterson back in the day. So let's see if we can rip that thing out every once in a while. Dude,
absolutely. I mean, and that's where I was headed. Like, as far as the defense goes, I mentioned it earlier. I can't tell you how disappointing the play was from most of the defensive tackle class. They only had 4 up, and I know Riley did some nice things. I thought Wooden had a nice play or 2, but on balance, Wooden, Carl Brooks, Riley, all the defensive tackles need to be a lot more consistent, or it is going to get tough against a Derrick Henry or anybody they send through, your A gap, because, man, that was way too inconsistent against the Bears.
And how about their best play as the defensive front ends up being the worst play? Like the one time that the defensive front gets home and gets Caleb Williams down to the ground, we just get a sliver of the face mask. And that was fun. I'm glad I brought it all the way back.
3rd and 20. 3rd and 20, Billy.
It was 3rd and 20. But listen, at least it didn't turn into 4th and 26 because, they probably would have gotten that.
Well, no, because then we would have had a disaster. Oh, wait, we did anyway, so that's good.
Oh, wait.
You had to end it. We were doing so well, and you had to end it on a
well, you better get it out of here before I do it again.
Well, that's a great idea. That's Billy. I'm Aaron. We'll be back on Tuesday celebrating a big Packers victory.